I am going to show you how to use a chisel. This is for absolute beginners. This is the first lesson I typically teach in my physical classes. The only tool is a marking out tool, bit of timber, and a standard bevel edge chisel. So no mallet, we're not going to be knocking it. If you like my Draper set, this is a great beginner set, like my plug there, bit of a sales pitch for the affiliate marketing, which actually should help this channel so as I can deliver this stuff to you. So you can check this out. I'm going to get an Amazon link down below. Probably don't want to hear that, but let's try it. Okay, so we got our bevel edge chisel, and this is the busy end down here, so that's the sharp end. So safety first, always keep that end away from you. Never put your hands in front of that. If you've sharpened this up so nice and sharp to cut through timber and other materials, that is easily going to slice through your fingers. So you don't go holding timbers like that, because we'll use a vise for it. Always, always, always hands behind the chisel. Now, I find the best way to keep your hand behind a chisel is when you hold it by here. This is the neck. You're going to hold it by the neck, thumb and finger, the back of the chisel facing into your hand. That way, you're going to take the chisel and use that other hand, your right hand, to maneuver the chisel side to side or turn it that way. And hands always behind the sharp end. And this is a great task. We're going to make a stop end chamfer just with a chisel. But you're going to learn about the pressure you need to put on the wood and how to control that better. So we've got a combination marking square. If you want to know how to assemble this correctly, check out the link in the video for that. I've done a video on how to dismantle this and put it back together. I'm going to set it on 8mm. When we're using our chisel, we need to secure the timber. You're not going to hold it with your hand. You're going to secure it with a clamp or a vise. Pop that in the vise. We got that nice and secure in there. We got our sharp pencil, and we're going to mark up 8mm on this. I'm going to put it against the edge here, and down along this line, I'm going to run an 8mm line. So there's our pen line. 8mm there. As that's there, I'm not moving it out of the vise. I'm going to run an 8mm line down the side of that as well. When I've done that, I'm going to adjust my combination square and push my rule down to the other end, simply so it will fit in here. Because I'm going to put a 45-degree end on this one, that direction, and that direction. Over, I'm going to put it on that end and under on this side. This is what we're going to cut out. Now, typically, you would see this decoration on the posts on a staircase on spindles. However, they're done by machine now, but it is nice to be able to do one by hand. We're going to create a chamfer, which is a 45-degree line that way, and we're going to stop it. It's not running all the way off the timber. That's going to mean we're going to have to take more control with that chisel. So we're going to put these stop ends on it. And when you're practicing on this, you'll be able to do it on all four sides of any planed all-round timber. So we're going to take the chisel and hold it by the neck. I've secured the timber in the vise. That's not going anywhere. The other thing we're going to do is to get greater control over this. I don't want it, my hand running off anywhere there, because it's not really carving. I want to limit my movement so I have greater control over it. So I'm going to put my elbow on the bench. I'm going to turn the chisel round so the top of it is into my hand and the back of it's facing up. The reason for that is that this end bevel, I'm going to turn it this way, because when I'm digging into that grain, I want it to push out of the wood. If I turn it around and do it this way, when it goes into the timber, the bevel will push it down into the timber. But we don't want to do that on this one. We want it to ride up. So elbow on the bench, and we're going to start here with our angle at a 45-degree angle to the timber. And my other hand is going to hold the back of that chisel and push that through. As I go through, instead of keeping it dead steady, I'm going to wriggle the chisel over side to side, left to right a little, and also laterally that way. And I'm saying laterally that way because that's how we adjust it in the planes when we get into it. Now what's happening, if the chisel's getting under that timber and it's going to lift and rise it up. So therefore, when we get near the end, we don't want this to split out. So we're going to put a lot of notches into it. So with that, I will move the chisel around into here. I'll come on this side, and we're going to push a notch in here. So if anything lifts up, it will stop here, short of our proper stop. We'll do a number of these. Because I'm right-handed, it's easier for me to keep my left arm, left elbow on the bench, and my right hand out here off the end of the bench. And we're working in this direction. we will run that chisel through here. When we feel it's lifting that timber, you've got to slow down a little. That's wriggling and splitting under there. Let's take that out of our way. That's jumped on me. That's okay. And then we're going to split that one out too. So we're going to get closer to this line now with our nice shad chisel and get down to there. And there's a bit of a stubborn bit. Wriggle that through. Lift it up. And I've got to see the line on both sides and follow that. What I'm aiming to do is leave the line at the end, but have a nice flat chamfer up here. If I'm going too deep in this, I'm going to move my chisel up and down and make this angle under here either higher, bigger, or smaller. Now, we're very near that end, and there we go. We're going to stop short because we've cleaned this out from that side afterwards. On this one, I'm going to take another pass at that and try and take as little as possible. Always hands behind the chisel. It's very tempting to go and lift a bit out. Don't. Use the chisel for it or take it out of the way and then move it. What I like about this is you actually have to slow down, take your time and focus on it. And that's quite satisfying. You'll also, what I like about it is it makes me want to sharpen the chisels and get better at sharpening. And take my time on sharpening them and get them super sharp to be able to control them here. This is a great exercise to start out on. Instead of using a mallet, it gives you good hand control and learn a bit about the grain and how to control which way to run the chisel. Now I find people ask me, it's starting to hurt my hands because they're digging into it. Well, don't hold it so tight. Hold it tight enough that you have control and it's not going to drop out into your foot, but not so tight that you're going to injure yourself. We've got to go a little further down on this one. So I'm going to tilt that over a bit more, a little more on that one. Now, when that's curved up there, I'm not putting my finger in front. I'm going to come around the other side and take it out there. Now I'm close to my stop here. So I'm going to cut back closer to that line. What I want to avoid is that this splits out up here. Here we go. This is where we need to take a little more time. When you've done this on all four sides of a piece of timber, it'll get you great practice in. When that's run quite smooth there, people are often asking me, how do I get this even smoother than that? Well, the reality is you're working with a natural material and you may not get it perfectly machined smooth. You're not doing it with a machine. That's one thing. The other is, if you actually look in any churches or anywhere else where these are more than likely to have been done by hand, you will see that there are slight imperfections in it. Then it was done, you can see that it was done by hand and pretty well done. That's the way it is. You get it, if you want to get it even better, a sharper chisel, take your time at it and go a little bit more. Now that I've worked my way towards this end, I'm not going to move my body around that way and work back this way. I'm actually going to move the timber. I'm going to take this off the vise. When I turn it, it's on the inside, which is a bit awkward for me. So now I'm going to flip it that way. So I can continue working in the direction that I'm comfortable with my left arm, as I'm right-handed, my left arm on the bench, steady control, and then I'm going to work into the other stop end. Now this is quite close to it, so same principle. We're going to put the stop here. I'm going to work that one through to that stop there. We've got a little bit more work to do on this one, and it doesn't matter what length you do your soft chamfer, just any planed all-round scrap timber will do. Because it's only practice on scrap first. I would always encourage my students to be using scrap first until they've done it a number of times before they start going it on their expensive timber and their final piece. In the expectation of getting this right first time, the reality is this would take 4 pieces of timber, 4 sides, 16 attempts minimum, so you start getting more comfortable with it. And you're getting there. Look at that. That is a lovely curl coming out. And when we've seen it on the other side, we can see we want to get a fraction closer to that line. Now we can run that along there. You even hear it. This is pretty sharp, this chisel, thankfully. Here we go. Let's work our way into that corner because we've been asked to do a nice sharp corner in here. We'll run that in on our line. A little bit is tempting to put your finger in there. No mallet, just hand tools. Let's get our cover back on that. Let's get a closer look at this stop chamfer. There's a chamfer stops either end. That's good practice as an absolute beginner on how to start learning to control your chisel and how to use it. Check out the other videos for a few more challenging tasks after you've mastered that one. Good luck.